Hey, welcome into another edition of Dolphins Today. It's a Victory Monday, a big bounce back win for the Fins, and it's Overreaction Monday. We're talking, is this the best offense of all time? They're putting up staggering numbers, but it's not all good news because the Dolphins committed 3 turnovers yesterday. The turnovers are a problem. We're going to get into that. And De'Von Achane continues to dazzle. The rookie has been so impressive. Another game yesterday, unlocking milestones. He was incredible all game long. We'll talk about that as well. And this defense took a massive step forward, but are they for real or was it just one game? That's all coming up next on this edition of Dolphins Today. All right. It wasn't always pretty on Sunday, but in the NFL, you just gotta win. 31-16, the final. At times, this offense looked unstoppable. They looked like a generationally good offense, the best ever. Tua was having his way. The beginning of the game, moving the ball with ease. But it was those costly turnovers that kept the Giants in the game. But ultimately, I think you could classify this one as a cruise control victory. But when you're heavy favorites at home, that's what's expected of you, and that's what the Dolphins went out and did. Tua was 22 of 30 for 308 yards with the 2 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions. And I pray that this is not going to be an Achilles heel that continues to rear its ugly head as the season progresses. And again, as I've said once, I've said it a million times, it's easier to learn the lessons on a win. So thank God the Dolphins were able to win 31-16. And De'Von Achane, how about this? 11 carries, 151 yards, 1 touchdown on the day. The guy's unstoppable. He's like averaging 100 yards a carry. It is ridiculous. He leads the NFL in a couple of different statistical categories. We'll get into that. And Tyreek Hill, how did I go this long without bringing him up? Another 100-plus yards of receiving. Nearly had 200 yards, 181 for the day on 8 receptions, and the 1 touchdown, the 69-yard touchdown that came at a very important time. First drive of the second half, and the Giants were kind of hanging around, but that put the Dolphins up the 2 scores, and they were able to put it in cruise control from there. So, Dolphins are off to a 4-1 start. It's the best start since 2003, and here's how we need to celebrate. We got to get to 47,000 subs because Dolphins Today is the best Dolphins YouTube community. We are family. I say it on the watch shows all the time. We want you to be a part of it. So if you haven't yet, you gotta subscribe because when you subscribe, we're bringing you constant daily Dolphins content, live watch parties, breaking news. You know we've got you covered on Dolphins Today. Now, celebrating this offense is a lot of fun because they are putting up astronomical numbers. I mean, we're talking the stuff of legends. In the first 5 games, this Dolphins offense has been unstoppable. 524 yards per game on average, averaging nearly 10 yards a play, and it's been balanced as well. And these numbers right now against the Giants, what they did on Sunday was so impressive because the run game was working, the pass game was working, and you had the 2-headed monster of Mostart and Achane rushing, and nobody's going to stop Tyreek Hill in the passing game. But those turnovers, 3 of them to be exact, 2 interceptions, and then the 1 fumble by Achane, so it wasn't all good news. Now, I believe the defense took a serious step forward in this game against the New York Football Giants. Obviously, you know what? The Giants are going to be one of the worst teams in the National Football League, especially on offense. They had the lowest scoring average coming in. So we challenged this Dolphins defense to make the plays, to get some pressure on Daniel Jones, and they delivered. They had one of their best, definitely their best game of the season so far, limiting the Giants to just 268 yards for the game, just 3.9 yards per play. Pass offense had nothing going, and again, a big reason why Daniel Jones and then Tyrod Taylor were under duress the entire day. But that Dolphins offense, after a 5-game sample size, have put up officially the most yards in NFL history. Check this out, 2,568 yards through 5 games. That's an NFL record, surpassing the greatest show on turf. Those Rams teams were electric back in the day. But this Dolphins offense is rewriting the NFL record books, and it's been fun to be a witness of it all. And how about the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa? We talk time and time again. Tua is him. Just look at the screen here, and you're going to see a lot of number ones. He's first in this. He's first in that. He's first in all statistical categories, playing at an MVP level. The 328 yards per game, 9.7 yards per attempt, 11 touchdowns, is second in the NFL, but you get the idea. He is playing at a high level. He's become that quarterback that many in the Dolphins organization believed he could become, and he's putting the rest of the league on notice as far as the premier upper echelon quarterback in the National Football League. Now, it can't all be praised, though, because like I said, the turnovers are my biggest concern. Call it an overreaction, call it what you will, but being -3 in the turnover battle for the entire season is concerning. So yes, the offense is on a historic pace. Rushing, passing, scoring, all of that checks every box. They've been incredible. The 2,568 yards of total offense, like I mentioned, an NFL record through 5 games. So it's hard to complain except for the turnovers. The turnovers have been an Achilles heel, and I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be a lingering issue for this Dolphins offense, because when you talk about great teams in the National Football League, one thing great teams have in common is they win the turnover battle. Take a look at the top teams in turnover margin this year. Obviously, the 49ers have put the rest of the league on notice, one of 2 undefeated teams. They're +7. The Buccaneers, off to a 3-1 start, +7. Now, these 2 teams at the bottom of your screen obviously didn't fare too well in Week 5 with the Bills and the Cowboys both losing, but they take care of the football, and that is a component of winning football, is taking care of the football and winning the turnover battle. So, if this continues to be an issue for the Dolphins, A, it concerns me, but B, it's going to limit what this offense is capable of doing. Yes, they've survived a couple of games in losing the turnover battle early on, but that could be a statistical anomaly. That's not something I see as sustainable down the road in the National Football League. Defenses are too good, and when you turn the ball over, you put your defense in a difficult position. So I ask you, and it's our pinned comment today, so let me know what you think in the comments. How concerned are you with the turnovers? Scale it for me, 1 through 10. We got a great show continuing, more to come. I want to tell you all about De'Von Achane and his record-breaking pace that he's on, how good that defense was, and some injury updates. But first, want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring today's edition of Dolphins Today. I love Prize Picks. Look, I've been using Prize Picks even before I got to Chat Sports because it is far and away the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. What's also really nice, especially for someone like me, you guys know me, easier is better, and it's really easy to use. It's easy to use the app, and ultimately, it's easy to win big. How easy? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You just select 2 or more players, and all you're doing is picking more or less on their projected stats. You place your entry, and it's that easy. So forget those complicated spreadsheets. You don't need them. Quit trying to beat the Sharks. With Prize Picks, it's just you versus the projections. As you see on the screen, I'm ready for Monday Night Football. I've already got my picks in, and I'm going with less on Jordan Love's passing projection and more on A.J. Dillon's rushing yard projection. So enjoy Monday Night Football tonight with the Packers taking on the Raiders, and it's even more enjoyable with Prize Picks. So don't wait. You've already wasted too much time. Go make yourself an account at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. And don't worry, that link will be in the comments in the description of today's video anyways. But prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to 100 buckaroos. So now that we're ready for Monday Night Football with our prize picks, let's get back to how good De'Von Achane has been. And look, I'm going to start campaigning now for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know there's some pretty good quarterbacks out there, and it's kind of a quarterback award, say it what it is. But as far as rookie running backs go, De'Von Achane deserves all the credit in the world, all the praise. He's unbelievable. The guy is the fastest football player with the rock in his hands. I know Tyreek Hill's right there, and we are so spoiled as Dolphins fans getting to watch both these guys tote the rock on a regular basis. But given how effective De'Von Achane has been, we've started to have this conversation a little bit last week, and now with another statistical output the way we saw in Week 5, I think the conversation's worth continuing to have. Is De'Von Achane becoming RB1, and does he deserve more touches? Look at the numbers. 11 carries, 151 yards with the 1 touchdown. That yards per carry average is absurd. 13.7. It is incredible to see what this guy has accomplished and how Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith have utilized him in the offense. And take a look at this from Joe Shad, one of the beat writers for the Miami Dolphins. De'Von Achane of the Miami Dolphins has more touchdowns, 7 total touchdowns. He's got 5 rushing and 2 receiving, so 7 total in his first 4 career games. That is more than any player in the Super Bowl era, so it's one more record that this Dolphins offense is setting. So kudos to De'Von Achane. And really what's neat about this is it has been a balanced attack between Achane and Mostart. Yes, Mostert's had more carries, 58 of them compared to 38, but Achane is that home run hitter. The 76-yard run yesterday for a touchdown is an example of that, but that combination of speed, and not to say that Mostart isn't a speed demon himself. Mostart a little bit bigger, can go between the tackles a little bit more, 5.4 yards per carry, 7 rushing touchdowns for Raheem Mostart. So yes, we're talking about De'Von Achane being RB1, but Raheem Mostart is right there. He's tied with Christian McCaffrey for the most rushing touchdowns in the National Football League. So he hasn't done anything to lose the job. It's just been that impressive from Achane and really the sum of the parts as a whole. But for today's exercise for Overreaction Monday, you gotta pick one. Let me know in the comments. We'll put it this way. Who deserves more touches as RB1? Type DA for De'Von Achane and RM for Raheem Mostart. Let me know in the comments. Now, the offense has gotten a lot of love and deservedly so. But what did we say all week leading up to Dolphins-Giants? This is an opportunity for the defense to prove themselves. A prove-it type of game. And for a large portion of the season, the defense had been the weaker unit between, and when your offense is putting up record-setting numbers, it's easy to see why they were kind of the B unit. But make no mistake about it, on Sunday, this defense was playing at a championship caliber level. The defense versus the Giants, 7 sacks on the day, 7 of them, totally dictated the game, and it was a welcome sight because in the first 4 games, the Dolphins had compiled 10 sacks total. They get 7 of them in the win yesterday, which was really impressive. And yes, the Giants scored a defensive touchdown on that pick 6, but on offense, they kept the Giants out of the end zone. So credit to the Dolphins defense. They did not allow a Giants touchdown. And yes, it was a 31-16 final, and majority of the second half, you felt like the Dolphins were in control. But when that offense slipped up, the 3 turnovers, it was the Giants' defense bouncing back and helping the Dolphins stay ahead of the Giants and keep that game at a distance. And really, it never really felt nerve-wracking because the Giants' defense played so well. Mike McDaniel also acknowledged how good the defense was because, of course, he's going to be asked about the turnovers, and his response in reference to losing the turnover battle, he gave a lot of credit to the Dolphins defense, saying, I think it speaks to what the defense was doing. The Giants had a lot of opportunities to make plays, and even if they were converting first downs, there was no quit. There was absolutely no quit. And that is exactly how I felt about the Dolphins' defensive performance as well, because even in the fourth quarter, when Tyrod Taylor came in replacement of Daniel Jones, this Dolphins defense was ready for it. It was a different vibe, more of a running quarterback, and they stayed right with Tyrod Taylor to the very end. Impressive work from the Dolphins defense. So it's only a one-game sample size. So I know you're going to say, Jake, pump the brakes a little bit. I get that. But I firmly believe this defense is starting to put it together. What I saw from them on Sunday makes me a believer. But I ask you, let me know in the comments, do you believe the defense is starting to turn the corner and put it together? Type Y for yes and for no. Look, if you're still skeptical, totally get it. This Giants team ain't very good. In fact, terrible. 11 points per game coming into Sunday. The Dolphins defense holding to 16, and really one of those was the defensive touchdown. So that offense is booty. So if you really believe that this Dolphins defense hasn't necessarily taken a huge step and it was just a product of playing a bad team, I get that. But let me know either way in the comments. Last but certainly not least, unfortunately, it feels like this is becoming a repetitive routine on Mondays. We talk about injuries suffered by the Dolphins offensive linemen. Last week against the Bills, it was Teron Armstead. And this week, his replacement, Isaiah Wynn, who has played so good this year. He's been excellent because Armstead's only played in 2 games, and Wynn has been right there. They haven't missed a beat with him at left tackle, hasn't allowed a sack all season, and the Dolphins unfortunately lost him for the game with a potential neck injury. They listed him as questionable to return, so it wasn't anything that was catastrophic or completely monumental, but it's a day-to-day thing. We'll get an even better update as the week progresses. But if they lose Isaiah Wynn, that probably means Liam Eichenberg becomes your left tackle, and that's just a scary, scary thought. I don't want to give anybody nightmares, and no disrespect to Eichenberg personally. I'm sure he's a great guy, but we all know what the production has been like this year. He's been one of the worst offensive linemen in all the National Football League. So praying that Isaiah Wynn is fine, and we'll keep you updated on that as the week progresses. But got to give a shout out to all of our Aqua Club members. Appreciate your support. And you know what? The watch party yesterday was electric. We did the most we've ever done in Super Chats because of your support, and it is so appreciated here at Chat Sports at Dolphins Today. There's a look at our Aqua Club members. You too could be a member of the Aqua Club. It's a $100 donation to Dolphins Today. Helps us keep the lights on here, get more studio time, bring you more breaking news, more Dolphins content, more live shows. We're going to be live on Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern, so don't miss that. And then, on Sundays, we've got live watch parties for every Dolphins game as well. So subscribe, Dolphins Today on YouTube. Don't miss a beat. Really enjoyed another edition of Dolphins Today. Shout out to my producer. Appreciate everybody making today's show possible. And we look forward to next time on Dolphins Today. See ya.